So the things that we were told that we would likely have to make decisions about were feeding tube, trach, and those were the two big ones, the two sort of medical interventions that might be something we would think about down the road. And then the third one was enzyme replacement therapy. And really during our first meeting with the doctor in Boston, he really talked to us a lot about it. And I think he didn't tell us what we should do, but he definitely went through different interventions and what he thought were some of the benefits and drawbacks. And he felt that enzyme replacement therapy would be beneficial, and that other than having to have a surgery to put a port in, that it was unlikely that there'd be any drawbacks. So our big thing was we wanted to do, and we've always kept it open that we could change our minds, that we would discuss it as we want, but we wanted to do whatever we could that would improve her quality of life the way that we defined that. And so we decided that enzyme replacement therapy, if it would, because she was so thin and her spleen and liver were so enlarged, and she was just, I think she was pretty uncomfortable. And I didn't realize it till later, because I would hold her, like on your hip, and she would kind of, she didn't want to be up against you. And after she had enzyme replacement therapy and her organs were all back to normal size, she was much more cuddly, I think. So that's me interpreting. But so we had decided that we would go ahead with enzyme replacement therapy so that we could address the symptoms that we could address, which for her were her liver and spleen. The enzymes can't cross the blood-brain barrier, and so they couldn't fix or even help her neurologic symptoms. But we figured if they would help her with her physical symptoms and make her more comfortable without really causing her any distress or she could still do everything she could do even before that. So we decided for us that made sense.
And it was important that our doctor supported us in that, because in some of the literature, and I don't know if this has changed, but in some of the literature they actually recommend against enzyme therapy for type 2 because it doesn't cross the blood-brain barrier, and it doesn't increase longevity at all. But it does help with quality of life. And so fighting for that and getting that, and he did that.
We started doing the enzyme replacement in Vermont. We were able to just go to our local infusion bay, not local, well, the hospital there. And it really wasn't a big deal, because I was home with Emerson all day anyway. And so it was actually, for me, kind of nice to go to the infusion bay. We got to know all the nurses, and sometimes my mom would come with me, or sometimes my friend Meg would come with me. And, and Emerson really had a good time there. I think because she was so young, she wasn't old enough to be nervous about going to the hospital, be anxious about needles. And really they would just, because she had the port, they would just, put cream on it to numb it, and then they would access her port, and then we would just kind of camp out for the day, and the child life people would come in and she'd watch videos, and we could go for walks, and it was kind of, our weekly kind of outing. It didn't ever feel like a burden. It didn't feel like, I think it might be different for people, and I don't know this. And they were just so wonderful there. And so she would get her infusion and we'd go on our way. And I think it did, it made her feel better. She had more energy. Mm-hmm. And it was supposed to allow her body's metabolism was just, I guess, in overdrive. But it was supposed to help her to gain some weight. And she never gained any weight or grew. She stayed in 6 to 9 month old clothes her whole life. And so it didn't help with that, but it also, I think, had she not had it, she wouldn't have been able to maintain the weight she had. Mm-hmm. So I and that's me speculating, but I believe it allowed her to feel physically more comfortable, and maintain the weight that she had.
Yeah. Oh yeah.